Well, hi there. I'm going to show you how to do the amber joy stitch, and this is it. It's quite a pretty stitch, and against a dark background. You can see. And the other side looks like this, and it looks nice too. So if you were to make a scarf or something like that where you would see the other side occasionally, it looks really nice. Or for a reversible hat, you could have this side as your good side. Okay. So the yarn I'm using, it's a Stell Atlantis. And the color, this is it here. It's got, it looks like there's a lot of yellow and orange at the start, but it has a lot of colors in it. And the color is Prism. It's a bulky yarn, and it's 55% wool, or 54%, 42% acrylic, 2% nylon, and 2% metallic. And it has a silver kind of metallic, which you can't really pick up very much on the camera. Well, you can see a little bit of the sparkle, but it really catches the light. It's a really pretty yarn. Okay, and it's a bulky. The loom I'm on is a 36 peg 3/4 inch loom. It's from the Doris set, and it is just like the Nifty Knitter set, the second one down, the 36 peg. I think it's green on the Nifty Knitter. And my loom hook isn't made anymore, but you can get similar ones on Etsy. Okay, so let's get started. I did an owl eye edge, so what I did was I marked the 2 end pegs here, and I marked the 2 end pegs here. And you can use either even or odd pegs. It doesn't make any difference. It's a 2-row stitch. It's very easy, even easy for a beginner. Okay, no purls. And as you can see, I did the chain cast on. It looks like this. I have the link on the description on this video, so you can just click on it and it will show you how to do the chain stitch. This is just a stitch video, so I'm not showing you a completed project, but I'm going to give you enough tips that you could do a project. So I did the chain stitch. And then on the side, I will show you how to do these side pegs. And it's not curling, it's nice and straight. No curl with no purls. So that's always nice. Okay, so we'll get started. So for the first row of the Almond Joy stitch, we're going to do a stitch that's called Tanza stitch. If you want to look more at my Tanza stitch, it's on my channel in a stitch video, Tanza, T-A-N-Z-A, and then that will show you how to do the stitch if you want to see it done on its own. Okay, so I've done my owl eye edge already. This is the first peg. Tanza stitch is done on 1 peg. It's a 1 peg stitch, and it's our first row. So the first thing we do is we do a U-wrap. We go behind, or an E-wrap, sorry. We go behind the peg and in front of it, and we knit it off. Then once we've knitted off, we come back around in a U-wrap on that peg, and we don't do that too tight. You want to be able to knit it over. If you do it too tight, it's going to come like that, and you're going to have a hard time knitting it over. So you just go over nice and loose and knit it over, and then come back and knit it over. There you go. 3 stitches on the peg. So an E-wrap, first stitch on the peg, then we come around to the front and do a U-wrap, and then we go back over it and do a backwards U-wrap, and we knit it off. And that's all there is to the stitch. Very easy. So E-wrap. Come back around to the front in a U-wrap. Come back around, going backwards in another U-wrap, and there you go, is your 3 stitches. Then come, from behind, do an E-wrap. Come back around and do the U-wrap, and then backwards U-wrap, and that's all there is to the stitch. So E-wrap, U-wrap going the direction we're going, and a U-wrap going the opposite direction. U-wrap, U-wrap, and you're getting 3 stitches on the peg, so that's like doing 3 rows. 3 stitches comes down quite far. That's like 3/4 of an inch it's come down. So this knits up very, very fast. Okay, E-wrap, U-wrap, U-wrap going the opposite direction. If you find yourself getting too tight, you can just loosen up. So if you find you're too tight here, just pull it out, and it's going to be looser. And if you come here and you're too tight, just pull on the top, pull on the bottom, just loosen it up. And that's all you have to do if you start going too tight, to loosen it up. Now we're on the end pegs, so I'll show you how I'm doing that. So you go in a U-wrap over peg 1, then from this peg you go in front of it and the next peg, nice and loose, and pull it out. Make sure you have it loose. You want to have your edges be nice and loose. This is a long stitch, and we want to make sure this is nice and loose to balance it off. Then we just knit these 2 off, and then we come back over the 2, nice and loose again, and we just knit it. That, and then we do the second wrap on this peg by going around and in front, and we knit it off. Okay, and now we're going to be doing owl eye this way. So we go on to the first peg. Whatever peg we're on is peg 1. We come back around and in front of it, knit it off. Lots of videos of owl eye on my channel. Okay, so you're on peg 1, go across peg 1 and 2 like that, and knit it off. Whatever peg you're on becomes peg 1. You wrap front of peg 1 and 2 nice and loose and knit them off. Okay, you wrap peg 1 and 2 nice and loose and knit them off. Peg 1 and 2. And that's all there is to this stitch pattern, just the 2 rows. When we come to the end, I'll show you how to do the end pegs on that side. Okay, and so because it's owl eye, we can just keep going. So first stitch, come back around over the 2, knit them off, nice and loose. Loosen them up if you need to. Make sure you're keeping them loose, and just knit them off. Okay, and then do your second wrap on this one, and then you're ready to do the row 1 again. So in order to do that, you do the E-wrap, knit it off, come back around in a U-wrap, I could talk, and then come back around in the other U-wrap, knit it off. So E-wrap, U-wrap, U-wrap, E-wrap, U-wrap, U-wrap, E-wrap, U-wrap, U-wrap the back section, E-wrap, U-wrap. And so you see it goes along nice and fast. A pretty blue color coming up here. Okay, E-wrap, U-wrap, U-wrap back the direction, E-wrap, U-wrap, E-wrap. And then the last one on this row is E-wrap, U-wrap, and U-wrap. And now we're doing the owl eye edge, so we go over peg 1, knit it off, come back around over peg 1 and 2, nice and loose, loosen them up if they need it, knit it over, come back over, make sure it's nice and loose, and then just knit it over. And we can just keep going because it's owl eye. So whatever peg we're on is peg 1. We wrap peg 1 and 2 in front. Okay. And that's all there is. So we'll finish the row and we'll take a look at it. It's going to be a lot longer now just doing these few rows because it's a nice fast stitch. Looks like I'm kind of knotted up over here. See a big knot here. We'll see if I can get done to the end of the row before I have to undo that big knot. And we're coming into blue. So now for a while we'll be doing the blue color. And we just do the owl eye all the way to the end of the row. Nice and loose. Loosen it up if you need to. And then just going to take this knot out. There. And make sure this is loose and then do the last stitch on here. Which now I don't know if I did or not, so then all I do to find out is take it off, and I hadn't, just one stitch came off. Come back over and then do the second stitch on it. There. And now you're ready to do the E-wrap and go back and do the whole stitch. So let's just stretch this out now because you'll want to set the stitches to actually look at them. And there you can see we're a lot longer. And it's such a pretty stitch. Make beautiful scarves, and it's nice in the round too. You can knit it in the round, make hats and cowls, shawls, scarves, whatever you want to make with this. Would even make a nice, a little bit more lacy than some, but not that lacy. It would even make a nice little blanket. Okay, so the other side looks like this. It's quite interesting. Stitch 2. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, bye.